What's up, Austin? What's going on? Yes, the mothership. I'll just promote my special on my socials.
You got it, man. It's all good, baby.
Good reviews. I don't read the comments. I hear, though.
So it's been a couple of years since Bryan Callen released a comedy special, and it seems like he's back at it again with another one called False Gods. And if I'm being honest with you, I think it's time for Bryan to retire. Now, if you didn't watch the special and have no idea what it's about, the best description I can give is this: an old man complaining about current events while trying to be funny. Emphasis on trying. And I can confidently say that after watching the entire special, you'd have a better time listening to the Fighter and the Kid podcast than spending an hour watching Bryan Callen's comedy special, which only highlights how bad it really was. Now, in the first couple of minutes, Bryan spends a decent amount of time trying to do the splits and pointing at his crotch.
To another reel where a dude, he's a cowboy, a real one. You guys know this. Most of you probably own horses here. And dude, he's a horseman. He's on a horse, a real cowboy. Hat, buckle, rope. He wrangles cattle. That's his job. Dungarees, right? Like, this is a man who comes home and he smells like steer, you know? And rawhide. His wife is probably traditional in a prairie dress. She's like, I baked you a pie, you know? Right? The dude's on a horse and he's no saddle, just bareback. Bro, that's a horseman. You want to talk about being connected to a horse? That's not a guy who can ride a horse. That's a guy who will break a horse. That's the kind of guy who can be like, and his horse shows up. Right? I mean, dude, what a man. You guys know, you know. Here's what got me. I watched this 5 times. He's not moving a muscle. He's on the horse, okay? It's just him and the wranglers. And I don't know what he did. Bro, nothing moved on his body. Nothing. But whatever he did, that horse from a dead stone still stopped, took off full speed. That guy sent a signal from his root chakra through his taint into the beast's back. And that signal was, go now. And dude, the horse was like, yes, master, and took off running. He wasn't even using the reins. He was just riding. Just controlling everything. To control 1,200 pounds of bone and muscle with naught but the golden crescent that is your inner thighs and taint. Dude, what an expression of masculinity.
And of course, since this was filmed at the Comedy Mothership, which is Joe Rogan's club, the transgender jokes were practically mandatory. After all, you've got to make sure Rogan approves of your message. And what better way to do that than by proving that the so-called woke virus hasn't infected your mind?
Thinking about that, I was like, the whole transgender movement, that happened in this zeitgeist, not mine. And I always think about why. It's very interesting, you know? And I just think about, because when I was growing up, there was one transgender person, and they did a 60-minute special about them. And I know, and now like 30% of you are trans. I don't know, but like, well, I don't know what it's very interesting to me because it kind of happened. Well, it happened 2015 when Bruce Jenner had an 8-hour operation. And he woke up Caitlyn Jenner. And then a minute later, he won Woman of the Year. And that, I remember that. That was crazy. And I remember I'm just a bunch of like conservatives and traditional Americans. I was like, I have some questions, you know? And we quickly found out the time for questions was over, bigot. This has all been settled science. We don't need your voice. We saw what you did to the other minorities, Whitey, you know?
Now, after I finished watching this special, I wondered if maybe I'm not a connoisseur of such brilliant comedy, but after checking the comment section, I quickly realized that most people didn't enjoy it one bit. This was a tough watch, cancelled my YouTube Premium so I could get an ad break, gonna watch Gringo Poppy just to cheer myself up after this. It's like Joe Rogan's ego became a separate person who also sucks at comedy. I have secondhand embarrassment watching this. And most of the comments are just like these, basically making fun of Bryan for even thinking about posting this comedy special, and considering how bad it was, they kinda have a point. I don't know what Bryan was thinking. Maybe hanging out with Brendan Schaub and doing comedy at the same time isn't such a brilliant idea, especially given how bad of a comic Brendan Schaub is. Also, considering that Rogan owns the club, and let's be honest, he's a terrible comic as well, all you have to do to convince yourself of that is watch his last special, Burn the Boats. You'll quickly realize that Rogan is competing with Brendan Schaub for the title of the most unfunny human being on the planet. Given all that, I don't think Rogan owning a club is a great idea since he couldn't recognize funny if it hit him in the face. Now, with that being said, let's move on because after Bryan posted his comedy special, he actually talked about it on his podcast with Brendan Schaub, and it seems like all the hate and criticism got to him because he looked quite upset and embarrassed about how his special was received.
We got to turn the page.
I'll just promote my special on my socials.
We got it, man. It's all good, baby.
Good reviews. I don't read the comments. I hear, though.
Yes, people on Patreon are also saying the same thing. They loved it.
Yeah, specials are tough these days.
Oh, it's just a set.
Even if
It's just
you
a
release
set.
on Netflix, it's hot for maybe a day. Tim Dillon dropped his, but then some other big show came out. He's like, "Oh, I got kicked out of the top 5 in like less than 12 hours."
Wow.
He's like, "You're there," and
That's
boom.
Tim. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, he's massive.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's just
Isn't that crazy?
lay of the land.
Lay of the land.
Yeah, you can't
Well,
bank on.
I remember
you
David-
can't bank on specials. Like a special. I mean, there's some outliers with like Shane Gillis and stuff when he releases on YouTube, but there's some outliers. But in general, like you used to release a special in order to get more fans, more eyeballs, sell more tickets on the road.
Yeah.
It's just not that case. It's just not the deal anymore.
No.
Now it's like a kid, some young kid doing some shit on TikTok is going to sell more tickets than a special.
That's right.
Yeah. Like him doing a skit that goes viral is going to sell tenfold more tickets than you really should. A good special.
I was just talking about that.
It's just
Nobody's
that's what it is.
Sitting for an hour or
No,
20 minutes.
no. You got to have one clip that goes viral. That's dope. That one clip that you spend whatever it is, 20 minutes editing and posting is going to do more than you doing a year long of road work and posting it for an hour.
Well, that's exactly right.
One clip.
David Blaine said this a while back, probably maybe 5 years ago, maybe, I don't know. And he said, I was talking to these YouTubers, and when I levitated as a magician, that trended for 10 years. Like, I'm the guy who levitates.
Before social media and all that.
Before social media.
Yeah.
So when I had a special on ABC, which was, can you look up when that was?
Mm-hmm.
That literally made him world famous for 10 years, which comes with crazy money.
Mm-hmm.
It comes with private shows for, sheiks. It comes for all that.
97.
So that's 1997. And that was going strong until about 2015.
Here's what's interesting. So if David Blaine announced now, let's say he's never levitated before. If he announced now on ABC I'm levitating, you might get 300,000 people tune in.
Oh, dude.
Like, it's just
he
not.
just said, so he goes.
It's just not the
He
media.
said, so I did that, and that trended for 13 years. Everybody was still talking about it. He said, there was a girl who said, I was going to do another magic, and she was a YouTuber, and she said, man, that could trend for, I bet you that would trend for like 5 days. And he started laughing. He goes, 5 days? She goes, I mean, not that long.
Dead serious.
Not
dude.
that long.
Yeah.
Dead serious. And now it'll trend for a day if you're really good.
A day if it goes super viral.
Think about that.
A day if it goes super viral. It has to be something that's out of the norm.
So what are we doing here? What's happening?
Honestly, this whole conversation just sounds like a bunch of excuses from these two about why they've been left behind and why nobody cares about their comedy anymore. Schaub even mentions Shane Gillis as being an outlier, and sure, Shane Gillis is kind of an outlier, but that's because he's genuinely funny, not because some algorithm is miraculously pushing him for no reason. What these two either miss or refuse to acknowledge is that you're not going to trend for a crappy special that nobody cares about. The work has to be good for it to be appreciated, and in Bryan's case, his comedy special was the exact opposite.
You have people like Halsey saying, I can't do an album now. I can't do an album because
No, people don't listen to albums.
Yeah, and also my last album that did like really well, 300,000 or something, or I don't know what it was, but she was like, like it's not enough. It's like,
Yeah,
nah.
but the record industry's changing too, where they're
It's
not
all
going
changing.
to pay you to
No.
do 15 songs.
No.
Like you need one single, trends, kids use it for TikTok.
So that because we have all started consuming
But
this
on
stuff
that same
like
but on that
candy.
same side, there's old bands that were they had their niche audience, or they were big back in the day, like when I was a teenager, and then somehow they become viral on TikTok, like in background music or on a viral video, and then they can tour again. Because people are like, dude, this song, like the young kids, like this song's dope. Who is this? Oh, it's fucking Creed, or it's Nickelback.
The most disconcerting, and you have these musicians listening to these AI versions of like Eminem doing blues, and I don't know if you've heard that, Chin, as a musician, but it's so unbelievable.
Dude, we've talked about it 6 times.
But I think
Rogan talks about it every podcast
What's
too.
that?
I think it's incredible. But I know Brendan doesn't dig it as much.
Well, no,
but I
the
think
problem
it's
is it's incredible.
Yeah.
And the problem is it's not a real singer. And the problem is it's undeniably incredible. And so you go like this, you go, now you still need Eminem to write those lyrics. And so the interesting thing is like AI becomes what? A tool to enhance your self-expression? Okay.
Or you don't need a big production anymore. You can do it from your living room. So it creates more artists.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. I think ultimately it's all coming into our hands and we can do everything ourselves, but you still need the distribution channels. You still need.
Not really.
Not really.
Not really.
Huh?
What distribution channel? YouTube?
I would say it
Anybody
would have
can-
to be coupled with something like the World Series or Monday Night Football.
What do you mean?
Well, you
It
can
doesn't, though.
you can still make a lot of money as, like, say, the Allstate guy, right? Because you're doing commercials that are reaching a lot of people when they're watching something like football, something like baseball,
But music, you don't need that. YouTube, you don't need that.
right?
At all. If you have your niche audience, you have 100,000 people, you're balling.
Right, so you guys get the point. They keep on going, basically blaming the times instead of themselves. Also, I have to point this out, Brendan Schaub acting like an expert and giving Callen advice about social media and how to make it might be one of the most ironic things he's done in a long time, considering his career is in the gutter. Not to mention the idea of him being considered a comic was funnier than anything Schaub has ever performed on stage. So I don't think Schaub is exactly the guy to be giving anyone career advice. Now, as for Bryan's comedy special, it was obviously a total flop. I think more and more comedians within the Rogan sphere will slowly but surely start to realize that it's not enough just to put out a special and promote it on the Joe Rogan Experience. That formula used to work, but certainly not anymore. Comedians will eventually have to face the reality that for a comedy special to be successful, it actually has to be funny. The formula where you pack your set with right-wing talking points disguised as jokes just to appeal to a certain audience seems to be on its way out, and frankly, I'm glad. All it's produced over the past few years is one terrible comedy special after another. With that being said, that's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.